Hello and welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and today I want to talk about purple tangs. Now, when I started in this hobby, I really wanted a purple tang. And when I first found out about how much these guys cost, I was blown away. I mean, $80 to $200 for a fish seems like a lot. And probably a lot of you are thinking, $80 to $200, where are you buying your purple tangs? Well, this was 10 years ago. And the prices on these fish have only continued to increase. I got really lucky when I bought mine. I purchased mine from the Fish Crew in Fort Collins from one of their Marine Monday sales they had. And I got mine for $100. He was $300, knocked down to $100. I scooped him up as soon as I found out about him. Unfortunately, I haven't seen a deal like that since. And if you look around, most of these fish kind of start in the $200 range and can go up to $400 plus for big show size tangs. The other problem that's starting to come up is availability. A lot of the bigger websites are showing these as seasonal, and a lot of them don't have them. As of this recording in May of 2016, Live Aquaria, Blue Zoo, the big online fish suppliers are out of purple tangs. Now, I did some research online and I couldn't find any direct reason as to why these fish are becoming unavailable. But my hypothesis is, if you look at the map, the purple tangs are from the Red Sea, and the Red Sea is surrounded by countries that are kind of embroiled by conflict. So we're right in the middle of the Middle East. You have Sudan, Saudi Arabia, Eritrea, Yemen, Somalia. These are all countries that have their own problems in conflict. So my guess is the reason we are struggling to get these fish, and part of the reason they cost so much, is just where they're from. It's a hard get. So now let's look at what it's like to keep and own a purple tang.
This is Donatello, my purple tang. And Donatello spends the majority of his day swimming back and forth in the tank. This guy is an active swimmer, which is what makes him so fun to watch. But it's also why he needs such a big tank. I wouldn't keep a purple tang in anything less than a 4-foot tank. And I don't mean a 55. I would say a 75 is pushing the limit. 90, 120 is even better. And if you can swing a 6-foot tank, get the 6-foot tank. The big problem with purple tangs, or any tang for that matter, is they are very susceptible to a few diseases. Ick and marine velvet are some of the diseases you really have to worry the most about with tangs. Now, ick is something you can treat. When you buy a purple tang, inspect it and make sure it doesn't have any white spots on the fish. If it has white spots on the fish, really think twice about buying this fish. This is a very expensive fish. Now, when you buy a purple tang, when you're going to spend the kind of money these guys cost, plan on putting this fish in quarantine. Put it in quarantine, and personally, I would treat the fish with copper. If it has ick or marine velvet, you want it gone. I had a chevron tang that I did not treat with copper, and it ended up getting marine velvet and dying in quarantine. When you spend this kind of money on a fish, go ahead and at least give it a light copper dose and buy that little bit of safety that says this fish is not going to die from marine velvet or ick. The other disease that purple tangs and other tangs are very susceptible to is hole in head and the lateral line disease. The cause of this is thought to be diet related. So we really have to watch what and how we feed our tangs to prevent them from ending up with this problem. Every day I feed my fish New Life Spectrum pellets, the LRS Herbivore Frenzy frozen food, and seaweed in the form of Nori. Purple tangs are primarily herbivores, which is why I provide them with so much Nori. Every day I give them about a full sheet for all 4 tangs. If I'm home, I'll feed these guys twice a day. Otherwise, they get fed once a day. And you can see they love nori. I don't bother with a clip in my tank. I just throw the nori in, and these guys go after it and tear it up. If purple tangs are fed properly, good water quality is maintained, these guys can live well over a decade. They are completely reef safe, and their love of algae ensures they spend the day picking at the rock, helping keep down all that nuisance hair algae that would otherwise be growing in your tank. Tank mates are another important consideration when thinking about buying a purple tang. My purple tang lives with a blue tang, a flamingo tang, and a yellow-eyed Kole tang. And everybody gets along really well. Once in a while, the blue tang and purple tang will have a bit of a tail slap, but that's about it. Purple tangs are of the genus Zebrasoma. Purple tangs do not do well with other tangs in the tank that are of the same genus. These include Scopas tangs, yellow tangs, Sailfin tangs, black tangs, gem tangs. So if you have some of these in your tank, really think twice about adding a purple tang. When I bought my purple tang, I already had a yellow tang named Pinky. When I first put the purple tang in with the yellow tang, they did fine. They did fine for almost a year. Then one day, the yellow tang snapped and decided the purple tang was no longer allowed to eat. I had to remove the yellow tang, and he now lives in my frag tank in the basement.
My purple tang is the crown jewel in my tank. I absolutely adore that fish. But for some of you, these guys are just way too expensive or way too hard to get. So what are some alternatives? Well, I love yellow tangs. Even Scopas tangs are great. They have the exact same care requirements, but they're a fraction of the cost. They're beautiful fish. They have the exact same personality. So if you can't afford a purple tang, or you just can't bring yourself to shell out that kind of cash for a purple tang, try a yellow or a Scopas tang. They are fantastic fish. So thanks for watching this episode of Mile High Reefers. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.